Most welcome to all of you. And I'd like to introduce today's speaker for this today's webinar, which is being hosted by Kendra Vidyalaya number 1 FO Station Chakeri, Kanpur. Madam Suman Singh, Associate Professor from PPN College, Kanpur, who has just spared her time in her very busy schedule. She has spared a few minutes for us and just blessed us today with her presence amongst all these eminent people, eminent principals. And we have a chance to listen to her on today's theme, today's topic, that is the innovative pedagogy for enjoyable and engaging learning. I'd request Honorable Principal Ma'am to kindly accord a formal welcome to our guest speaker, Madam Suman Singh, and to the Honorable Principals who are already here with us. Along with them, other teachers from the different KVs and other people. I could recognize that they are not from my school, so that is again a very honored moment for us that they have taken time to join our webinar. Ma'am, please. Please unmute yourself first.
Yeah. Good evening to all. So today's webinar we have.
Namaskar.
Sabhi ko namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, madam. Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Yes, sir. So we have our guest speaker, Dr. Suman Singh, Associate Professor, PPN Degree College amongst us. And I extend my hearty welcome to Dr. Suman Singh. Madam is our alumna of 1982 batch. And she has studied in Kendriya Vidyalayas only from class 1 to class 12. Her whole schooling was done in Kendriya Vidyalayas only. So she is a true KVN. And being KVN, we are all proud of you, ma'am. Madam has a very, very vast experience of teaching, and she has been working in PPN Degree College, Kanpur, since year 2000. And she is teaching graduation and postgraduate students, and she is guiding research scholars also. But she has started her teaching in school only, and she has taught in Kendriya Vidyalaya, New Cant, Allahabad, Army School, Allahabad, and Maharishi Patanjali School, Allahabad, all very, very prestigious schools. Also, she has been associated with a very prestigious project of Andhra Pradesh state government. Andhra Pradesh government has invited her in 2019 to shape state government schools of Andhra Pradesh. So I extend my hearty welcome to you, ma'am. We are definitely going to be enriched by your vast experience of teaching career. You entire and means in a sense I should say complete, means every age group you have taught. So we will be benefited a lot. So you are welcome, and we are privileged that you have joined with us today evening. I welcome the learned principals of different Kendriya Vidyalayas of Lucknow region. On this occasion of Shikshak Parv, we have been conducting Lucknow region, all the schools are conducting a series of webinars on the occasion of Shikshak Parv 2021. And these webinars are attended by learned teachers also and parents also. So I welcome all of you on this occasion, all learned principals, teachers, and parents who have joined us. Today's topic is innovative ideas to make your teaching methods more effective. Means how to promote which pedagogy we should adopt to promote enjoyable and engaging learning. And really, we have been doing it since long, and we experience that it is a big challenge for any teacher to capture the attention of every student, each and every student. It is very difficult, and convey ideas effectively so that there is a lasting impression we can create. How to tackle this challenge effectively? What should we do? We have been teaching, we have tried different methods, but mostly what happens that on account of different pressures or different limitations, we tend to adopt the same chalk and talk method, the traditional method of teaching, and does not create interest. The child is not interested in learning. So, what should we do? What should be that innovative pedagogy so that the child experiences uh, more involved, the child's involvement is more, the child enjoys also the teaching, and the child learns also at the same time and remains engaged. So, how to reinvent our teaching methods and how to make our classes more interesting? What are those innovative pedagogies that we should be discussing in this webinar? Actually, NEP also is National Education Policy. Different paras are given under this policy regarding uh, different methods, how to integrate art in our teaching pedagogy, how to integrate sports in our teaching pedagogy, what innovative teaching methods we should follow. So, and what are the development needs and interests of learners at different stages of their development? What should be those curricular and pedagogical structure of school education that will be more relevant according to the development needs and interest of students, children. The national education policy says that it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 uh, age system design is to be adopted. 5 years means 3 to 8 years of children. A child who is of 3 years to 8 years means class pre-primary classes and class 1 and 2 both. Then class this about middle school 6, 7, 8. A child of age 8 years to 11 years. Then 11 years to 14 years, and then 14 to 18 years. So 8 to 11 years means classes 3, 4, 5. 11 years to 14 years means middle school, classes 6 to 8. And grades 9 to 12 means uh, a child of uh, 14 to 18 years of age. So different age groups, but pedagogy should be such that learning should take place in a real sense. So what should we do for that? That all we shall be discussing here. This foundational stage, the pre-primary, it should be more flexible, multi-level, playway method, activity-based learning, storytelling, etc. So pre-primary stage and classes 1 and 2, we should adopt such play, discovery, and activity-based pedagogical tools we should follow. The middle age, that comprises of 3 years of education, which is classes 6, middle stage means 6 to 8. So the pedagogical and curricular style of pre-preparatory stage should be, it is more curriculum oriented and more abstract concepts are taught, and here we should be ready to follow interdisciplinary approach in science, mathematics, arts, social sciences, humanities. That interdisciplinary approach should be followed, and experiential learning within each subject and explorations of relation with different subjects, it should be encouraged and emphasized during these years. And in secondary stage, the 4 years of studies means classes 9 to 12, again multidisciplinary study and more subject oriented pedagogical and curricular style, but with greater depth, greater critical thinking, greater attention, and greater flexibility to choose a subject. That should be our approach. So different stages are there, and that is all NEP says in different paras. And NEP provisions which expects us for the holistic development of learners. So what should be the overall thrust of curriculum and pedagogy? It should reform all stages, be it pre-primary, be it classes 1 and 2, be it 3, 4, 5, be it 6, 7, 8, or 9 to 12. But there should be real understanding, and there should not be any rote learning that we should just stop uh, in our teaching pedagogy. So, uh, I would like that in this webinar, teachers also uh, can present their ideas and can suggest some methods because we are all in the same field. So, firstly, our guest speaker, Dr. Suman Singh, she will enlighten us, and then our principals, some principals, and then I would like some teachers also. They should also suggest what pedagogical approach. It is like a discussion kind of webinar, and we should all learn from each other. Thank you so much. And I hand over to Archana. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to welcome once again to our eminent guest speaker as well as all the eminent guests today, the very respected principals, very knowledgeable, experienced in their field. I hope that today's webinar is going to be one of the very rare learning opportunities for us teachers when, apart from our everyday teaching learning situations, we get this time to listen to all those bright ideas, all those long years of experiences combined into few sentences and delivered to us. So, over to you, Suman ma'am. This is a chance to listen to you for this very
Thank
specific
you.
topic.
Thank you, Archana. You spoke very good words, but it's not going to be that good, I hope. I'm just a part of you. With that, with due respect to my alma mater, I give my regards. I welcome all the principals and teachers of KV, and I owe so much to this organization that I just wish if I could make any meaningful discourse with the people who are already experienced. So, whatever little that comes to my mind now, or whatever I have gathered from institutes like KV and others, I'll be trying to put it into words. Sir, all the principals, teachers, and some of the parents, if they have joined, because I truly feel that teaching is, a process where not only teacher and the learner, but at school level, we also have the parents as an important, stakeholders. Many a times, a child, when he is maybe of the age group, say 8 to 11, in that age group, when the child is developing certain ideology, certain concepts about life, about society, about subject matters, he finds that what is being taught in the school curriculum has contradictory relationships with what parents say at home. For example, maybe in social studies, we talk about, cross sectionality. We talk about societies which do not have divides. We talk about everybody is equal and all religion and caste and creed and genders should be taken equally. But when the child goes at home and he finds that the things are not the same, there enters a big contradiction into his mind. So it is good that whatever we teachers or educators are thinking, we should involve the parents and the larger society also, along with what we are trying to aim at, so that there is no conflict into the developing minds of the younger generation. So I really welcome and appreciate the parents if they have joined to share their views and to listen to what we are planning. Now, coming to the national education policy, if we talk about the new national education policy, it has tried to address few things which we as teachers think that have come to us in this 21st century. One very important factor that has come to us is the impact of globalization. So, what do we want in the education policy for that? In order to address that, I think our students should be made more global, in language aspects they can be led towards multilinguality. We should train them towards universal acceptance of variety of cultures and traditions, and give them exposures to this. In this respect, I think KVs are already going ahead. KVs have always been, pioneers in this field. And any KVN that I have met till now, there are a lot of alumni associations online also. I find that a KV pass out student or a person is better adjusted in in the larger society, because of the fact that inside KV we have multicultural and cross-sectional society to mingle with, to learn from. So that is a very good thing that KVs have been doing since 1963. And we have a host of humanity which belongs to KV, which has passed through this journey of KV and have grown into very good human beings and better adjusted social members. So what we mean, what can we add? Because pioneers, KVs are the pioneers. Other government organizations and institutes might be looking at KVs to follow. So they are already innovative. I think that a teacher, being teacher is really challenging, as ma'am, principal ma'am just mentioned, that it is really, really difficult to draw the attention and hold the attention of the young, vibrant minds for the whole session or whole class. In order to do that, the first and foremost requirement of a teacher is his or her personality should be charismatic. They should be good actors. Should be jovial. They should be smiling. They should be ready to take new challenges. They should always have innovative methodology. And then today, how what innovative methodology can be reinforced? I know that you all are doing already. Few things which are coming to mind, like for the preparing the child for the 21st century. Multilinguality is one, so we must promote language-wise. If a child at the age group 5 to 8 comes from, say, Tamil background or Bengali background, which we very well find in KVs, it's very much possible in KVs. So if we have them, their regional language, it should be respected by the teacher. And we should promote the children to continue and respect their local language, alongside develop some more languages like Hindi and English, maybe Urdu and Sanskrit, and later on German, or in the higher classes we can move on to other international languages. So I feel that multilinguality as an attribute of personality can be fostered by KV teachers, can be shaped and promoted. That could be done. And also another 21st century problem that we are coming across is a lot of people, because of the digital world, are getting unsocial. We have to see that the child is more and more socially engaging, and also is interacting in the class with the community. For that, to achieve that, small pedagogical changes can be made. And that is, one concept which is coming nowadays into the discourse of academicians is crossover learning. So with this crossover learning, what do we mean is we integrate the informal settings into the classroom situation. As ma'am, principal ma'am just said, that because of various constraints for the teachers, I know the teachers are overworked and they have to complete the syllabus, they have to present a lot of their work profile on various platforms. So it becomes at times difficult. But then what could be the ideal situation that I'm trying to present before you? Maybe you can find out better ways to integrate that in your teaching. That is, informal settings would include, museum, visit to museum, or maybe visit to mall. Mall is a very new upcoming thing. If a child of, say, age group of 5 to 8, or even 8 to 11, or even for that matter 14 to 18 years of age group, has experienced something in a mall, has experienced something outside the school, the teacher can utilize that experience of the child, integrate with the syllabus or the subject which he or she is to teach, and then uh, utilize that informal setting as a source of education rather than actually resorting to the story or the textbook material. For example, uh, a girl comes to me and she says, "Yesterday, ma'am, I went to mall." I will take that example in the class, ask others if they also had similar experience. Have they visited the mall in Kanpur? What is their idea about it? And maybe I can make them speak few lines on that and make the class as a language class, so that they have certain new words popping in into or suggested by the teacher. Similar wise, it could also be a class for social studies or maybe integrated to a class of commerce. So this crossover learning is gaining coinage nowadays as a phrase in the system of new pedagogies. Second is incidental learning. Now, this is very close to the crossover learning method. Incidental learning would be take and utilize any chance happening in the class, outside the class. So utilize that chance incident to teach the students ethics, maybe human skills, human relationships, or social behavior. For example, if two students have fought or quarreled over something, this could be taken as an incident which the teacher can quickly connect to some of the moral science or some of the human relationship skills and then develop a class. So what happens, the child and the children, their personal lives are taken into account, and teaching is done around that, so that becomes more permanent and more child engaging. Likewise, in case of science, we all are already finding uh, learning by doing is the most effective method of teaching in case of science. So, if we take a very easy example, I'm teaching, suppose, the effect of pressure on volume. So, even if I bring a small ball of cotton, which could be a very crude example, I may not take the children to the lab every time. But if I take a small ball and then squeeze it and show them that, see, this is how, if I'm applying pressure, the volume is decreasing. So volume and pressure are how they are related. This doing will have a lasting impact or effect on the children than actually just explaining in words and making them write. So we all know that small experiments, small activities in science, or everyday science, or everyday activities, or everyday gadgets which the students are already using, they could be utilized to explain scientific terms, scientific phenomenon. So that will make the class more engaging for the children. I also feel that learning through local interactions, we can connect the children or the learners, depending upon their age group, to the local NGOs, some new startups, or we may invite some achievers of the around the school. Uh, for example, see if we have recently come across something happening good in the defense area, or which is around KVs, maybe something happening around the locality, some important person is doing something socially worthwhile or economically worthwhile contribution to the locality. We can always make the children interact with them, take their appointment. The teachers can take the students to directly interact with these people. That makes the child directly connected to the real world outside, real world around him, rather than only into the classroom. Because at times the students feel that because whatever they learn in the classroom is only to be vomited out on the papers in the examination, and they do not actually exist in the real life situation. So if we could make some local interactions, we will be connecting them to real life situations which are happening. One example is immediately coming to my mind. I thought I'll share. In Kanpur, we kept on reading that a boy who had done BTech and he was well settled abroad. He came back to India, to Kanpur, and utilized the waste flowers which are used for in the temples for worshipping gods. In this Anandeshwar temple, there is huge waste flowers. So these waste flowers he collects, and he has developed a small factory where these flower petals are changed into uh, you know uh, agarbattis. So this startup had gained so much of appreciation in media and various stages. So if it is only in Kanpur, why can't we make him? We can invite him in the school, make him interact with class 12th and 11th students. So that would give them some inspiration. In case of alumni, now this is also a new coming concept. A lot of schools and institutions are utilizing their alumni for upgrading the school, and these alumni could be brought to different classes, invited. I'm sure every alumni can take out one day in a year at least to do something inside the school, motivate or inspire or talk. That could also be to a lot of students it is a great thing to know that okay, somebody from my own school could do this, so I can also do. So that resource is freely available, so that can also be utilized as an innovative method. I also feel that social engagements could be given to the higher classes, and the social engagements are to connect the students to society and give them social responsibility, or bring into them the feeling of social responsibility. Now, how we socially engage them? If I am a class teacher, I can request a child to find out whether around his vicinity, around his home, is there anyone who is an ex-caveman. If he or she finds, I would have a word with the person and say that in your locality, I want that the KV students of class 6 or class 5 who live nearby your vicinity, they are trying to work on bringing out awareness among people of how to wear masks, or how to take health care, or maybe about a little cleanliness, or how to home quarantine. So small assignment could be given in the locality if they move out and meet people. That could be their community engagement, through which they can learn language, through which they can learn interpersonal relationship, through which they can be socially responsible. So that could be one thing. In case of language and literature, if you're teaching language and literature these days, specifically what I do, because I'm in this literature field, I try to siphon the personal time of the student. What I mean to say, the teacher is allotted only 45 minutes or say 50 minutes, and in one period he has so many other things to do, taking attendance and then talking to if there is some kind of problem in the class, and then also maintaining the syllabus. So in order to enhance the vocab, enhance the fluency, I try to siphon the personal time of the student by saying that I would suggest you to go to this app and listen to the English debate or a panel discussion on this topic, which is available here. And tomorrow we will have a discussion on what you heard. So if I give this assignment, I know that the child would be, giving his personal half an hour or 1 hour to the news or to the panel discussion which I have indicated. Thereby, I will be saving my time and then only capitulating on what the child already has learned in his personal time. And that can be one method which I think comes very handy for the teachers. Then team representations in inside classroom. Often we should invite students to give individual representations, and more than that, team representation on any subject, any topic that they like. So whenever there is a earlier they used to be, there was a way that we would always invite a child who was confident to come and speak on the topic, but that always gave a kind of overconfidence to one child, over attention to one who was good, and kind of complex to the other who others who might not be that good. So always over individual representation, we can motivate group representations of small kids into the classroom, where a lot of edu is not to be done. Only just they can come like that and give a group activity. When they give group activity, whether it is science, if they're explaining a phenomenon, whether it is physical education or language, they also learn how to behave with each other. There would be frictions, of course. There would be certainly frictions and quarrels, but that is a part of learning. So my request to the principals is that when the teacher, any teacher, is engaging herself in or himself in innovative methodology, there would not be a pin drop silence in the class. The class would not sit in order. The school would be a jovial, bubbling place, and there might be some disturbance and noise. But that is the better part of a healthy life of a child. So kindly bear if there is some little noise. We cannot have complete silence. So that would be there. And about what else we can in case of sports and physical education, we can suggest these students, the teacher can propose the student to form a club outside the class or after the school hours. So when they make clubs, it could be into their vicinity, it could be online on WhatsApp for higher classes. And these club activities, if they jointly go out to play, take out a fixed time, they would be learning interpersonal skills. They would be learning how to behave and interact and have a team spirit. And that also would give an opportunity to the sports teacher to utilize the children's extra time or personal time, which is beyond their school timing. So these all are very small things which I think every teacher is already doing. The only thing is we have to slightly emphasize it more, keeping in the mind that we are moving towards the 21st century is already on our way, and these are the demanding needs. Specifically, one thing which we just, the other day, 10th of September, we talked about suicide prevention day. And I chanced to attend many webinars on this. And I found that no Canadian generally comes to making very rigorous coursework. They are doing very rigorous, syllabus. They are producing nerds who are not socially interactive, who lack interpersonal skills. So when it comes to real life situation, they very soon tend to fall into depressive zone. So it is also the responsibility of a teacher to engage the child in teamwork and connect him to the society so that he leads a healthy and satisfying life. I think something I could be able to convey, although I know that I'm speaking to people who are already so very much experienced and learned, and they are the torchbearers who are taking our nation ahead. I'm sure in times to come, people globally would acknowledge and recognize that KVNs are different. With that, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Really, KV is not a school. It's an emotion. And every KVN is proud of it. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome Preeti, Madam Preeti Saxena, Madam, our Assistant Commissioner, Madam, has joined us. She is there. Yes, no.
Ma'am, presently, ma'am is not visible.
Yeah. As soon as ma'am comes, we shall welcome
Sneha
her
ma'am
with
is
interest.
there, and we welcome
She was
her.
just there. She was just here 2 minutes back. Yeah. So हम मैम का स्वागत करते हैं हमारे सहायक आयुक्त महोदय का। चलिए कैरी ऑन करिए। जैसे ही आएंगे हम फिर से मैम को वेलकम करेंगे जी।
Okay, ma'am. So, on my behalf, as well as all the teacher fraternity which is present here, I heartily thank Suman ma'am for such a beautiful deliberation on all those points which NEP 2020 has been again and again reinforcing and is trying to just deliver to us what it should be taken care of. Before I proceed, I'd like to point out that there is a profile Monal Gupta and it has raised a hand. I'd like to ask Ms. Monal or Ma'am Monal if you want to share something before I proceed with the next task we have. Or might be it is by accident that the hand is raised.
Good evening to all the respected panel members here. Madam Jyoti Saxena, Madam Mini Verma, Madam Suman here. It was just when I was listening to Suman ma'am on these involving these new pedagogy and the innovative ways for promoting enjoyable, engaging learning. So of course it is with the advent of the online mode of teaching, I think it is on one hand boring, but on the other hand it is also possible to make it more enjoyable since we have more of the aids to our able, and that is, of course, it is much more possible to make it more enjoyable and engaging, even when we are sitting at home. And just beside this one point, I would like to congratulate Suman ma'am. She reminded me of this great writer we have. This great writer Sudha Murthy. So she completely reminded me, when I heard her voice. So Suman ma'am, you reminded us of this great writer Sudha Murthy, and Sudha Murthy herself in her writing talks about this innovative, enjoyable learning besides the textbooks, besides the school premises. So thank you all for bringing us all here. Wonderful listening to all of you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Monal. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Mrs.
We
Mona
want to
Gupta,
see
ma'am.
you. We want to see you.
I'm Mrs. Mona Gupta from KVRRC Fatehgarh.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Nice seeing you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Monal.
Is there a little time I can I speak on what?
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you for showing so much of regard. But I am one of you. Rather, I take myself as the student. You all are my teachers. One thing which I'm reminded of, which I missed out when you talked of Sudha Murthy. I'm reminded of the fact that we also need to gender sensitize the students and our children because KVs are already making all other discriminations, the gap between the different sections of the society, KVs are filling up already. Only one section is, I think, required, and that is, filling out the gap between the two or the variety of genders. So that gender sensitizing is also one of the issues which 21st century is catching up with. So we have to be, take that also in our discourse somewhere in the class. With that, thank you, and you can continue with your program. Take it ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, Monal ma'am, for just seeping in and putting this point beautifully. Now, as Suman ma'am was deliberating different points, just like incidental learning and crossover learning, learning by doing, there were so many points and there were so many things that she included in her all speech. Now I will proceed further to two of my colleagues, one from primary section and one from secondary section, who are here with us. I'd like to invite Miss Nidhi, PRT, and Madam Mamta Shukla, who is TGT Social Science. They are here with some of the samples we have collected from our school interactions, our school teaching learning atmosphere, from our classroom, from our children. And we would like to share those samples with you in the form of small videos that we have been able to create. There are a lot many things that actual classroom interactions take place, and we keep on doing things. But record keeping is a problem. I'd like to admit it. Here, a few of the things are there. I wish that it can show off some of the practices which we try to be innovative in, or we would like to make ourselves come to the terms of being innovative teachers or being teachers in some of the ways where we are trying to be better than what we are. So over to you, Nidhi.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to all the dignitaries here. And as the topic of our webinar is about enjoyable and engaging learning, innovative pedagogy, that is have been our motive throughout, and also is a need of an hour. And it has been one of the main key tenets of the national educational policy, and which is required for the holistic development of our learners. Innovative pedagogy is about making our classroom or per se learning fun, enjoyable for the students. It should be creative, it should invoke their creativity, and the child should be away from the rote learning and more about self learning. We always talk about you can learn this and you can learn that. When the child learns by itself with the pace, with the self pace, it's more engaging and it's more helpful for all of us. And we see the learners become more enthusiastic. So we have some glimpses from our primary section, and then we will proceed to the secondary section. So I would like to present the screen. Yes. Is my screen visible, Archana ma'am?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Nidhi, please.
Okay. So here is one of the activity which is about directions. Initially, what happens, the students are not well familiar with left and right sometimes, or the road maps. So we can make a road map in the ground area of a playground area. We can utilize that, and the students are standing here as a symbol of tree or temple or park, and two teams are there. One of the team is participating and the other team is there to mislead them, and the child is blindfolded and he has to find the directions. The only clue the friend can give is to move left and right. So it was very engaging, and I must tell you that it was before the COVID. So let me just present it. So the child is blindfolded here, and the students are giving.
I think
It is
Nidhi,
not playing. It is not playing.
let me interrupt. The video is not on your screen. It is.
It is stuck somewhere. I think it's not moving.
Please switch on to the video page or video window so that it may be presented on your screen.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Now is it?
Yes. Now we can see.
Okay, sorry for the delay. So there are two teams here, and the students are self-engaged in this learning. They don't need even the teachers here. They are giving the instructions, and there are two teams here. And they were so enthusiastic to participate in such activity, and they were very familiar with the concept of the directions of the map.
Just a minute, your voice is, there is some echo. How many mics are on?
Okay, ma'am. Yes.
Is it okay? Yes.
Ma'am, there is a microphone, Aparajita Gupta. This, yeah, now it is off. Didi, please try again.
Ma'am, now is the echo is there?
No, please carry on.
Yes. Okay. So through this activity, first of all, it was a group activity. So it was not just about one child. The children were together. They were doing a collaborative learning. It was a group activity, and the concept of direction was very well clear with them. And they were enjoying it. It became quite competitive among them, and they were literally enjoying it and learning. So it was before the COVID, but we can conduct this activities with all the SOPs taken in point, and this activity can be conducted at the playground itself. It will be more helpful for the students because in a small space they are not able to understand the directions like in our classroom. So the playground can be a very much useful and it can be a natural setting for the students. One of another activity I would like to show you.
Please play it. Nobody has seen it.
Now the one team has to tell the direction, the other team is misleading them.
There is no voice in the video.
We got the glimpse. We can understand it. Appears to be a good.
Carry on, carry on. Yes, next.
So the next activity, it is called play around the circle. In this one, the students of class 1 are standing around the circle and they are given simple instruction like in, out, forward, backward, clockwise, anti-clockwise. These particular terms become very difficult for them when they read it in the book. But to act out or to play games which involve such instructions, it becomes very easy. Let me show you. Simple instructions are there in, out, forward, backward. But for the students, it is very much enjoyable because it's not in just in the classroom. It's in the playground. It's in the natural setting. And then they move anti-clockwise as well. It includes a physical activity. They are running and enjoying. Then we just make them stop and then they do it anti-clockwise. I think there is some problem with the video, I think audio. So I will share it once again.
Okay, next one, because they're doing rounds clockwise and anti-clockwise. Carry. Next one.
Yes, ma'am. So this next activity is make a tower. So here are class 1 students and simple addition sums have been given to them in a form of flashcards and some Legos are given. They love to play with it. So they just have to add up according to the flashcards and they don't need a teacher here. It's just you give the toys, you give the flashcards, you tell them what to do, simple instructions, and they are involved in their learning. They're doing it, that is we can call it self-learning here. And this is during the time when the students have come back after such a long time and they have learning gaps. So definitely we need to engage them in the learning and have to make it more enjoyable. So these are hands-on activities which involve a lot of experience, and it's a maths class but it is being conducted in a natural setting in a park because they have been, you can say, stuck in their rooms for a long time. So they are sitting in a park, they are having their toys, they have been given the instructions and they are enjoying and doing their maths work. So we actually have to create a lot of interest in students regarding maths. So this is one of the activity. also keeping in mind the SOPs we have to follow after COVID. After this, I would like to proceed to the next activity. All these activities are about involving the students in the class, not just giving them some worksheets or everything. We can provide all these resources through the resource room we have already in our schools. There are many things which are available in the school which can be made as a learning material for them. Let me present my screen again. Yes. So this is one more activity. Here there's an art integration in learning the language. Students are actually learning the opposite words. Little, big. It's just not the words for them. Now they can see it, they can experience it, and also art integration is here. The students are enthusiastic and excited to make these such things. They were actually excited to make all these things, and it involves a lot of engagement from the students as well. Like Motu and Patru, they usually see it as the cartoons in their daily lives. So we have to involve such element in our learning as well, which is related to their daily lives. Just telling them the opposite words or doing it on the blackboard is not enough. They have to experience it. Right? Rough, the surface is rough here, their experiences. So here comes the experiential learning once again.
Okay, next, Divyanshi, come here. Turn the page. Open the slide.
Yes. So these were some of the activities which we conduct in our primary section. And these are the glimpses only. We are daily doing some and other activities so that those learning gaps which have been formed now after such a long gap can be covered. And we need to engage our students in the learning and also make it enjoyable. Because we have seen that after they have come this tough time, they are just sitting in the class, they are not able to interact also with us. So when it will become fun for them, I think they will come back to the zone they came from before, and they were so enthusiastic before. Now we have to bring that zeal back. So this was from the side of primary section. For the secondary section, I would like to invite Mamta Shukla ma'am, PGT Social Science. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Nidhi. A very good evening to all the scholars and learned participants. You have seen samples from our classroom teaching learning situations in which teachers have incorporated innovative pedagogies in various subjects. So, here I am with few samples from the secondary section. Our teachers know very well that children learn and enjoy most by doing themselves. So, one of our science teacher, Mrs. Alka Bajpayee, is teaching the topic Venation in Leaves. I repeat the topic Venation in Leaves by taking students to the school garden and having actual leaves in their hands as sample. So let's enjoy this video too. Ma'am, can we have the video?
You are having leaves? Types of leaves?
Yes. Now ma'am has taken students to the school garden. She is displaying leaf. And students, they are learning the topic Venation in leaves.
Banana leaf or grass leaf.
Outside the classroom, children are enjoying
You are having mango leaf.
as well as they are following COVID protocol too.
This type of venation is called. Some of you are having.
Now, the next video. Now, when we talk about social science, then again there's a big question how to teach social science through activities. I feel as a social science teacher that role play or skit can be very effective in imparting knowledge. So here's a video of class 7 student. They are displaying the concept of equality through this polling booth scene area. Here you can see a TV anchor. She has come to the polling booth. Students, they are watching the role play. She has come and introduced one by one all the students, showing their diverse group they have come from. Some of them are teachers, some are workers, farmers, and even the domestic helpers. They all are standing in the same queue, disregarding their economic, social status. So here, the children have shown that in India we have political equality. But when we talk about social equality, then we see that these domestic workers they have to attend their workplace first, then only they can take their children to the hospital. Even though their child is sick, but she is unable to take a day off because she has to take advance from her master and then again will take her daughter to the hospital. So through this they are showing that political equality is not enough. Social equality, economic equality, they should also be the important points we should work upon. This was the role play by class 7 students in social science. Now again, in the next video, we will see science. Mrs. Chetana Sharma, one of our science teacher, this is a video prepared by ma'am and her students again in our school green garden. Ma'am has followed multidisciplinary approach in this video while teaching the topic parts of a flower. Here you can see teacher as well as the students holding flowers and studying themselves. Through this, she has connected the class with nature to develop aesthetic sense too. This activity minimizes rote learning and encourages holistic development and 21st century skills. Yes, critical thinking, creativity, and scientific temperament. So, in this way, children enjoy most by doing themselves and outside the classroom environment. Now, what I feel, and we all must admit that not only curriculum, but also the co-curricular and extracurricular activities involve innovative pedagogy in great deal. राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 के अनुसार छात्रों को अपनी सभ्यता एवं संस्कृति से परिचित कराने का अनूठा अवसर है एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत और इसकी भाषा संगम गतिविधि जिसे हम सभी साप्ताहिक कार्यक्रम के तौर पर अपने विद्यालय में आयोजित करते हैं। यह वीडियो इसी भाषा संगम की एक झलक देखिए कि हमारे कानपुर के छात्र कितने कठिन प्रयास करके मेघालय की खासी भाषा को बोलने का अच्छा खासा कठिन प्रयास कर रहे हैं। ये बच्चे अत्यंत तन्मयता के साथ इस वीडियो में इस भाषा संगम की गतिविधि को कर रहे हैं और मेघालय की खासी भाषा को सीखने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। मेरे ख्याल से यह एक अनूठा प्रयास है जिसमें हम भारत के अलग अलग राज्यों की सभ्यता संस्कृति के बारे में पढ़ सकें। And this is an effort to develop multilingualists and fluent. So this is what we have from our secondary section. I think we enjoyed most by doing it, and you also must have enjoyed by watching it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nidhi ma'am and Mamta ma'am, for coming forward and collecting these glimpses. And we are able to share this to our eminent and very learned people sitting here. Now, moving forward, this is a great chance to request from all the eminent people present here to listen to them and to have a word of wisdom from them. I'd like to invite Most Honorable Vishan Dayal sir, the senior most principal. स्वागत है सर, और हम काफी देर से इंतजार कर रहे हैं आपको सुनने का. तो पैनल डिस्कशन सभी प्राचार्यों से अनुरोध है आप इसमें शामिल हो, और मैं शुरुआत करना चाहूंगी आदरणीय विष्णु दयाल सर के साथ.
धन्यवाद मैडम. आदरणीय मिनी मैडम और आदरणीय मिनी मैडम जो होस्ट है इस कार्यक्रम की, और बाकी सभी प्राचार्यगण, बरेली से भी जो हमारे प्राचार्यगण बैठे हुए हैं, इसके अलावा बरेली और कानपुर के जो शिक्षक साथी भाई बहन बैठे हुए हैं, सभी को पहले तो शाम की सादर नमस्ते प्रणाम. और बहुत अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन सुमन मैडम ने दिया. इलाहाबाद से लेकर के कानपुर तक की यात्रा तय की है मैडम ने, और बहुत अच्छी तरह से उन्होंने सारी चीज़ों को बताया. उसके बाद जो एक्टिविटीज निधि मैडम ने और ममता मैडम ने पेश की, बहुत अच्छी तरह से वो एक्टिविटीज हमें कहीं यह सोचने पर बाध्य करती हैं कि जो हमारा आज का टॉपिक है इंजॉयबल एंड इंगेजिंग लर्निंग, वो कैसे की जाए. इस बात को हम सब जानते हैं एक शिक्षक के रूप में, और बहुत बार सुना पढ़ा है जगह जगह. एक बच्चे की नज़र से आई हियर, आई फॉरगेट, आई सी, आई रिमेम्बर, आई डू, आई अंडरस्टैंड. बड़ी साफ सी बात है. 3 प्रकार से मोटे तौर पर शिक्षण संभव है. एक तो है हम बच्चों को सुनाते हैं, बच्चा सिर्फ सुनता है. दूसरे में कुछ डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन देते हैं, और तीसरे में उनको करने का अवसर देते हैं. पहले के संदर्भ में बहुत सीधी सी बात है, और हम सब शिक्षा जगत से जुड़े हुए लोग हैं. जो शिक्षक हैं वो निश्चित रूप से हम लोगों से ज़्यादा जानकार इस मामले में है कि वो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, और हम लोग बहुत समय से शायद प्रैक्टिस में नहीं. और आज के समय में जो स्थितियां बनी है कोरोना के बाद, हम व्यक्तिगत रूप से मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि वे लोग हमसे ज़्यादा अनुभवी हैं, क्योंकि अपने बच्चों के साथ क्या परिस्थितियाँ और किस प्रकार से वो झेल रहे हैं, हम लोग शायद ग्राउंड लेवल में अभी उतना नहीं झेल रहे. तो सत्य बात यही है कि अगर हम बच्चे को सिर्फ भाषण दे रहे हैं तो वो भूल जाएगा. कुछ डिमॉन्स्ट्रेशन देते हैं, उनके सामने प्रदर्शन करते हैं चीज़ों का, जैसे भी एक्टिविटीज के माध्यम से, कभी ड्रामेटाइजेशन के माध्यम से, और अनेकानेक रूप हैं. तो बच्चे कुछ बेहतर याद कर पाते हैं, लेकिन अगर उन्हें करने का अवसर मिले एक्टिविटीज के फाद में, तो वो लंबे समय तक याद रखते हैं. और सही अर्थों में आई अंडरस्टैंड, मतलब सीधी सी बात है कि वो अच्छी तरह समझ पाते हैं. और इस क्रम में जो सुमन मैडम का लेक्चर था वो एकदम सही दिशा में हम लोगों को ले जाने वाला था. और ये एक्टिविटीज ने बाद में इसी बात को सत्य सिद्ध करने की दिशा में प्रयास किया. जो बच्चे इन एक्टिविटीज में सम्मिलित हुए हैं, मुझे नहीं लगता है जो चीज़ें वो कर रहे हैं उनको कभी भूल पाएंगे. चीज़ें टॉपिक है हमारा इनोवेटिव पेडागोजी टू प्रमोट इंजॉयबल लर्निंग एंड इंगेजिंग लर्निंग. 2 पार्ट में इसके मानता हूँ. एक है इंजॉयबल लर्निंग, दूसरी है इंगेजिंग लर्निंग. इंजॉयबल लर्निंग के संदर्भ में मेरा व्यक्तिगत विचार ये है कि जब तक टीचर खुद टीचिंग में इंजॉय नहीं करेगा, टीचिंग को इंजॉय नहीं करेगा, वो जॉयफुल टीचिंग नहीं कर सकता. अगर इंजॉयबल लर्निंग हमें करनी है तो हमें नए नए आइडियाज, नई नई टेक्निक्स खोजते रहना पड़ेगा. और वे टेक्निक्स जिनको बच्चे लाइक करते हैं, हम बच्चों के बीच में रहते हैं, हमें जानकारी है कि कौन सी चीज़ बच्चे को अच्छी लगती है. उन्हीं चीज़ों में जाकर के अगर हम पढ़ाएं तो बच्चे इतना बढ़िया समझते हैं कि वो जीवन में नहीं भूलेंगे. फॉर द एग्जाम्पल, मैं तो आज भी शिक्षक हूँ, अभी भी पढ़ाता हूँ। जब मैं रस पढ़ाता हूँ, मैं हिंदी का शिक्षक हूँ, तो मैं भूल जाता हूँ पुराने उदाहरण क्या थे। मैं तो आज की फिल्मों से ही उदाहरण सीधे देना शुरू कर देता हूँ। जो बच्चे दिन प्रतिदिन की चीजों में देख रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, पढ़ रहे हैं, वे गीत जो नित्य प्रति वो गुनगुनाते हैं, अपने आसपास देखते हैं, अगर उनके माध्यम से हम बच्चों को बताते हैं तो वो कभी भूलते नहीं। तो हमें यह भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए, जब हम बच्चे को पढ़ाने चल रहे हैं, कि आज के बच्चे हमारे किस एरा में जी रहे हैं, उनके आसपास क्या घटित हो रहा है, उससे लिंक करके जो हम बताएंगे तो बहुत अच्छी तरह से सीख पाएंगे। तो मोटे तौर पर अगर जॉयफुल हमारी टीचिंग है तो इंजॉयबल लर्निंग सुनिश्चित करने में हम सफल हो पाएंगे। इसमें मेरे हिसाब से कोई इफ बट नहीं लगता। दूसरी बात आती है जो क्या बोलते हैं, दूसरा पार्ट जो इसी टॉपिक का है, इंगेजिंग लर्निंग, मतलब बच्चों को लर्निंग में कैसे इंगेज रखा जाए। इसके संदर्भ में हमको देखने की जरूरत है। जैसे अभी एक्टिविटीज पेश हो रही थी, बड़ी अच्छी एक्टिविटीज थी। सबसे पहले हमको एक्टिविटीज जो है वो प्लान करनी चाहिए, इंटरेस्टिंग है कि नहीं। बहुत बार एक शिक्षक के रूप में हम लोग क्लासेज में देखते हैं, पाते हैं कि टीचर अपनी जगह मस्त है और बच्चे अपने दूसरी दुनिया में मस्त हैं, कुछ गपशप कर रहे होते हैं। कोई उसी समय अगर सोशल साइंस या साइंस की क्लास है तो मैथ का टीचर का अगर थोड़ा सा भय ज्यादा है तो मैथ का होमवर्क कर रहे होंगे, कोई कुछ कर रहा होगा, कोई कुछ कर रहा होगा। तो ऐसे में फिर वह चीज नहीं आ पाती है जो होनी चाहिए। बच्चों को इंगेज करना, क्लास में उनको बनाए रखना, पहले तो उनका ध्यान आकर्षित करना और फिर उनके ध्यान को बांधे रहना, यह बहुत कठिन इसलिए है क्योंकि हमारे पास प्लान नहीं। बहुत बार टीचर्स कहते हैं बड़ा मुश्किल है उनको बांधे रह पाना। अगर आपके पास एक जादूगर की भांति सुंदर सुंदर एक्टिविटीज हैं, इंटरेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज हैं, तो बच्चा कहाँ इधर उधर जाने पाए। मुझे नहीं लगता वो जाने पाए, वो कहीं और भी होगा। आज उसको हल्का फुल्का कोई प्रॉब्लम भी है घर में तो भी दौड़ के आएगा कि आज फला मैडम की क्लास है और मैं नहीं मिस करना चाहता, क्योंकि आप उसके लिए जादूगर की भांति। तो इंटरेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज हमें प्लान करनी चाहिए, और जो एक्टिविटीज हम प्लान करें बहुत बार बच्चों को भी इन्वॉल्व करें। उन्हीं से, कुछ बच्चों से कभी कभार एक्टिविटीज प्लान कर लेते हैं, बेटा ये चीज है, ये पॉइंट है, पार्टिकुलर एरिया है, इस पर आप 5-7 बच्चों को जिम्मेदारी दे दीजिए कि आप इस पर कोई एक्टिविटी तैयार करें। और जो एक्टिविटीज प्लान की जाए उनमें वैरायटी होनी चाहिए। यह नहीं है कि एक ही प्रकार की एक्टिविटी पूरे सेशन या पूरे पाठ में, अगर मान लो पहले तो हमें लगता है एक पाठ में एक एक्टिविटी जो लोग भी कर लेते हैं वो भी अपने आप में बड़े अच्छे शिक्षक होते हैं, लेकिन अगर 2-4 कोई कर ले जाए तो बहुत अच्छे होंगे, जिनको हम महान शिक्षक कह सकते हैं। तो चलो एक पाठ में एक भी कर रहे हैं तो कम से कम दूसरे पाठ में एक्टिविटी डिफर कर जानी चाहिए, क्योंकि एक ही प्रकार का भोजन हमें अच्छा नहीं लगता है। इडली डोसा अगर किसी को पसंद है तो ये रोज इडली डोसा नहीं खा सकता है, किसी को बंगाली रसगुल्ला पसंद है तो रोज वही नहीं खा सकता है, बाटी चोखा पसंद है अगर पूर्वांचल के लोगों को तो रोज नहीं खाया जा सकता। तो वैरायटी भी होनी चाहिए एक्टिविटीज में। और बहुत बार क्या होता है, हम बच्चों को एक्टिविटीज तो दे देते हैं शिक्षक के रूप में, एक्टिविटी देने के बाद हम अपनी दूसरी दुनिया में मग्न हो जाते हैं, मतलब भूल जाते हैं कि बच्चे जो है कुछ कर रहे हैं और वहां पर हम नहीं होते, या तो बगल के क्लास में झांकने लगते हैं, हमारा कौन फ्रेंड वहां पढ़ा रहा उससे कुछ बात होने लगी, या उसी समय हमने अपना रजिस्टर निकाल लिया कि इसको भर लें, या टीचर्स डायरी का पेज छूटा हुआ है वो कंप्लीट कर लें। अगर हमारी यह अप्रोच है तो फिर मान कर चलिए कि आपकी एक्टिविटी बच्चों के लिए बहुत लाभदायक नहीं है, वे भी फॉर्मेलिटी ही करें। जब बच्चे को हम कोई एक्टिविटी दे रहे हैं बच्चों को, तो हमारी ड्यूटी बनती है कि हम बच्चों को घूम घूम करके उनकी सीट्स पे जा करके जहाँ कहीं है उनको मोटिवेट भी करते चले, उनका काम देखते चले, और जहां अगर कोई गड़बड़ी है उसको कैंसिल करते चले, क्लास करते चले, नो दिस इज नॉट राइट वे, क्लास कर दीजिए। उसके बाद वो खुद ही सोचेंगे कि सही हमसे गलती क्या हुई। तो हमारी ये ड्यूटी बनती है ड्यूरिंग एक्टिविटीज कि हम मूवमेंट कर रहे हैं, मूविंग रहे पूरे क्लास में, और बच्चों को मोटिवेट करते हैं कि कहाँ ठीक कर रहे हैं, कहाँ नहीं ठीक कर रहे हैं। असाइनमेंट्स जो हम देते हैं बच्चों को वह भी हमारे ऐसे होने चाहिए जो इंटरेस्टिंग हो और एक्टिविटी बेस्ड हो। और सबसे बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, कई बार हम एक्टिविटीज देते तो है लेकिन उनका इवेल्युएशन करने से घबराते हैं। अगर एक्टिविटी हमने दी है और उसका इवेल्युएशन करके हमने फीडबैक नहीं दी है कि बच्चों का जो लेवल था, किस ग्रुप का कहाँ था, या किस बच्चे की एक्टिविटी कितनी बढ़िया थी, तो हम फेल हो जाते हैं। असफल हो जाती है। फिर भविष्य के लिए बच्चों का उत्साह मर जाता है। हम ही कोई काम कर रहे हैं, अगर मान लीजिए अभी यहाँ चर्चा चल रही थी प्रीति मैडम है ग्रुप में, अगर है तो उत्साह कहीं ना कहीं हम लोगों का बढ़ा रहेगा। ऋषि सर आ गए तो और उत्साह बढ़ा रहेगा। अगर कोई हमारी एक्टिविटीज को देखने वाला नहीं है तो कहीं ना कहीं हम उत्साह रहित हो जाते हैं। इसलिए जो भी हम काम बच्चों को दे रहे हैं उसका न्याय संगत ढंग से हमारा मूल्यांकन होते रहना चाहिए शिक्षक के द्वारा, और मूल्यांकन की फीडबैक भी अगर बच्चों को जाती है तो मानकर चलिए कि वो बच्चे आपकी हर लाइन को एंजॉय करेंगे, हर प्लान को एंजॉय करेंगे। उनको और से आप जो भी शिक्षक भाई बहन बैठे हुए हैं उन सबके लिए निवेदन इतना ही है कि इंजॉयबल लर्निंग और इंजॉयबल लर्निंग, इंगेजिंग लर्निंग दोनों के लिए आपके पास प्लान होना चाहिए। इंजॉयबल लर्निंग के लिए बहुत आवश्यक है कि आप स्वयं इंजॉय करना सीखें। आप नए प्लान के साथ जाऊंगा भी आपके लिए इंजॉयफुल होगा। अगर फिर खाना रोज खाना शरबत पी रहे हैं, रोज खाना पुरानी खीर खा रहे हैं तो आनंद नहीं मिलेगा। और दूसरे एंगेज जब बच्चों करने जा रहे हैं तो आपके पास डिफरेंट टाइप की एक्टिविटीज, डिफरेंट एज चाहिए। उसमें बच्चों को एक्टिविटीज करते समय आपको खुद इस जोश के साथ बच्चे लगे उसके साथ आपको भी लगना पड़ेगा। और मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग कि बच्चों ने जो किया है उस पर फीडबैक हमारी भूल जानी चाहिए, जिसको हम लोग इवैल्यूएशन कहेंगे, इवैल्यूएशन एंड फीडबैक। ऐसा करने में हम सफल हो जाते हैं तो सही अर्थों में जो आपका इनोवेटिव पेडागोजी प्रमोट और उसके आगे डॉट डॉट डॉट, तो उसमें हम सफल होते हैं। थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for simply summarizing the whole thing and giving it to in a few sentences. That if we fulfill these conditions, then we are surely going to be a teacher who is able to make the children enjoy their class and engage with them. That results into learning. Thank you once again, sir. Now proceeding forward, I'd like to invite Most Honorable Rajguru sir for his deliberation in this panel discussion. Rajguru sir, आपसे निवेदन है इस विषय पर हमें एनलाइटन करें सर।
Thank you, madam. Already a lot has already been said by Honorable Suman madam and Vishnu Dayal sir. At the very outset, I would like to say good evening to all. Especially the Suman madam, the chief speaker guest of this occasion, and then our senior most principal, Shri Vishnu Dayal ji, all other respected principals, teachers. A lot has already been said on this issue. So actually speaking, frankly speaking, they have not left anything to speak for me actually. But anyhow, yes, of course, it's time to move from this rote learning and memorization towards the joyful learning. Now, we are talking about this issue since long. Even during the days of CCE, we were talking about all those things. And the scheme was very good, no doubt about it. The same is here continued in NEP 2020 also, but in a little bit a different way. So the time has come that we have to think, not only to think, but to implement it in right spirit. For this, what the teachers need to do is to adopt a very practical and a very participative approach. Means as Dayal sir has said, that the teacher should enjoy his teaching. Then only he can make the teaching joyful. Okay. Then this is why this is required, because now the whole emphasis is on deep understanding of the concept. They are just memorizing the things and omitting at the time of examinations is not sufficient enough. Gaining the marks in the examination is not sufficient enough. What our aim should be to make that concept very clear to the student, and the activities and the methods which have been demonstrated by the teachers in primary section and secondary section by the Chakeri 1 also. It was very good, and that all should be followed. Then only we can make it very interesting for the students. And what is the role of the teacher here? The teacher has to be as a guide, as a facilitator. Okay. And he is to monitor it. The most important thing, as Dayal sir has underlined, that after doing all such activities in a very planned manner, that they also need to be a feedback also has to be taken. Unless and until you take the feedback, you cannot plan further for the for more activities for the means carrying on your syllabus and other contents also. So overall, now that teaching has shifted from teacher centered to child centered, and the same is narrated in the NEP 2020 also. NEP 2020 Chapter 4, as all of you know, that suggests for the structural reforms in school curriculum, school pedagogy, depending upon the need and the interest of the students for various age levels, at various levels, as Madam Mini Verma has said in his initial words, that there are four stages like foundational stage, and then preparatory stage, and then come to middle stage and secondary stage. So we have to plan as per the need and the interest of the child. Then only that curriculum, that pedagogy which we have planned will be very effective for the students. One more thing which I would like to emphasize here upon, that if vocational education is also included in this teaching learning process, that would also help students not only to develop their skills, their capabilities, but also to learn in an interdisciplinary and very interesting manner approach के साथ. तो ये सारी चीजें बहुत जरूरी है, एंड स्पेशली व्हेन वी गो फॉर, एज मैडम हैज सजेस्टेड, सुमन मैडम, कि समाज में अगर बच्चों को भेजें और डिफरेंट कम्युनिटीज के साथ उनको इंटरेक्ट कराएं, दैट विल बी मच मच बेटर, बिकॉज वो दे विल लर्न about the society, they will learn about the ethos, the values which is being followed by the society, and not only that, this will lead to enhancement of their skills and their capabilities. And not only that, with regard to their locality, they will be able to understand about the culture, particular culture in that locality, the particular craft or art prevailing in that locality, and by that they will not only learn the things, but they will be able to survive in future also. So this is also very, very important. And overall aim of this entire NEP and the new education policy is to imbibe the human values, imbibe the moral values, social values, and overall making them a good citizen. So I don't think that I have much words to say about it, but with regard to KVS, if I talk about, मुझे जो सबसे अच्छी चीज लगी with regard to KVS and which is being introduced because of this NEP is MDP, that is multidisciplinary project, and learner's diary. बहुत सारी चीजें हम लोग पहले से कर रहे हैं इन KVS, बट ये दो चीजें जो आई हैं, this is really something new for us, and teachers need to understand all such things in a right spirit and to implement it in a right spirit. Like multidisciplinary projects की जब हम लोग बात करते हैं, it has been introduced for classes 3 to 8 in light of this NEP. तो उसमें by the same project the child will be able to understand math, science, social science, and all the subjects. But it should be like it was in CCE also. The policy was very good, the scheme was very good, but what I believe that it was not implemented in that very manner as it should have been. वो अगर हम करते तो शायद वो भी हमारी पॉलिसी बहुत ही सक्सेसफुल होती. बट एनीहाउ, now we are with some new concepts, new techniques, teaching techniques, and that should be adopted. Furthermore, learner's diary जो अभी introduce की गई है KVS में, that is also very good because by this at the end of every chapter the child is supposed to give his feedback, जिसकी बात अभी हमारे दयाल सर कह रहे थे, वो feedback that but it should be in writing. तो इससे क्या होगा कि एक तो बच्चा उस कॉन्सेप्ट को समझने की कोशिश करेगा, उसको समराइज करने की कोशिश करेगा, and not only that, not only is comprehending the things and understanding the concept indeed, but also he will be able to express what he has learned by writing that in a paragraph or in a lines or two in this learner's diary. So this is a very good step initiated by KVS, and our teachers should follow this in right spirit. इसके अलावा one more thing I would like to say to our teachers also, that we need to come up to the level of the students whenever we are going to teach to them. सबसे पहले classroom management, all such things which Dayal sir has already narrated, that should be followed, but साथ साथ एक चीज और होनी चाहिए कि बच्चे से बच्चे की भाषा में बात करें, बच्चे के स्तर को देखकर बात करें, उसके लेवल पे जाकर बात करें, then I will think that it will be more effective. Interact करें and be very friendly to the child. Don't behave like a teacher that मैंने जो कह दिया that is वो पत्थर की लकीर हो गई and you have to follow this thing, and if you're not following then you will be punished and so on. Nothing should be there. So the teacher and taught should be involved in this teaching learning process in a very active manner. तो ये चीजें होनी चाहिए, and lot of things have already been said about it. I don't have much to say. With this, I expect my teachers and everybody that the NEP 2020 will be implemented in right spirit, and new ideas, innovations in teaching methodology, pedagogy, curriculum will definitely be in futures and implemented. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. As you again and again repeated that you did not have much to say, but we can conclude that there were so many points that we had not been able to include till now, and that those were collected by you. So thank you so much, sir, for your points of wisdom, for your words of wisdom, and thank you so much for being here with us. This golden opportunity that we are able to share platform and share our few precious moments with all you eminent learners. Ma'am, shall we proceed towards the conclusion of the webinar? Or
Definitely. I think you all had a very long day today.
Sure, ma'am. So, towards the conclusion of the webinar, I'd like to invite Mrs. Mridula Saxena, our senior most PGT teacher, to propose the vote of thanks to our guests and all those who are attending the webinar today. Ma'am, please.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody present here. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Yes, okay. Am I visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Most esteemed guest speaker, eminent principals from different Kendriya Vidyalayas, respected principal ma'am, dear teachers, and parents if anyone is there. It's a great honor for me to get an opportunity to propose vote of thanks to you all dignitaries. On behalf of KB number 1 Chakeri, Kanpur, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you all for your presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I extend my hearty thanks to our eminent and very learned guest speaker, Dr. Suman Singh, who took out a precious time from her busy schedule and enlightened us with the knowledge of such an important topic. Today's webinar was really very, very informative. It gave insight into the topic. My special thanks to all the principals of KV here for such a live discussion. Really, sir, you discussed so many things in such a nice way that so many doubts which we had are very clear now. And also, you, Sir Rajguru sir and Vishnu Dayal sir, you really discussed a lot and we really gained so much knowledge from you. I must thank the organizing team also, especially our principal ma'am for giving us such a support and to also help us in each and every little things. And I am pretty sure now that this precious knowledge which we have gained here will help us in our teaching, and our children will get the chance to enjoy while playing, as well as they would learn new things in a very interesting way. Really, sir, thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Suman, ma'am.
Thank you, Bangalore. KV number one principal still. It is my alma mater, and I consider all of you as my teachers. And Rajguru sir, we have met. I have been to your school once, I remember. Thank you. Nice listening to you.
Nice to see you, madam, here again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are really means enriched and enlightened. And it was wonderful to have you with us. And we shall continue this connection in future also. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Thank you. Vishundal sir, thank you so much. जी जी जी
एक रिक्वेस्ट है छोटी
जी सर
आपकी अनुमति से जितने लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं सबको मैं कल के वेबिनार के लिए आयोजित कर रहा हूँ। समय यही 5 बजे का रहेगा।
सर हम बिल्कुल
लिंक
होंगे, हम
आपके
सब
स्कूलों को हम भेज देंगे।
जी हम सब लोग बिल्कुल रहेंगे ही। सभी शिक्षकगण भी रहेंगे। जी सर और थैंक यू सो मच सर, आपने हमारे जी 5 बजे ही है ना सर?
यस मैम 5 बजे।
जी
5 बजे